What up, y'all? Welcome back to Empowering Real Talk. It is your girl, Coach K, baby. And before I get started, y'all know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you see my beautiful face. But if you are listening on your favorite podcast streaming platform, then make sure you favorite Empowering Real Talk so you do not miss these conversations that are super necessary. I appreciate y'all support so much. And if you are watching here on YouTube, then you see I'm not here by myself. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself. Hello, hello.
Hello. I am so excited. Thank you, Miss K, for allowing me to, or allowing us a platform to tell our stories. So I really appreciate you. I'm super excited about this episode and where it'll take us.
Excited of you being here. Tell us who you are and what you do, sis.
Okay, so my name's Angel Gaddis. I am from Dallas, Texas. I have been in healthcare for 10 years. I am a published author now, and I am also doing motivational speaking. I have two daughters. One's in college, a sophomore in college, and one is entering sixth grade. So, as you probably know, if you have children, your life is completely busy all day, every day. So, I'm super excited, to see what the rest of this year is going to bring me.
Absolutely. And having girls, because I'm a boy mom all day. So I can't tell y'all that I don't wonder what would life would be like with a girl. But then that thought go away quickly because I know how I was as a girl.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if I need that coming back on me, okay?
Trust me, I questioned it, especially the second time around. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to dig into some things with you because we have had previous conversation. And I really think that this topic that we're going to talk about today is going to be very fitting. So I just want to kind of let you tell us a little bit about your backstory, what got you started, and where you are today.
So, wrote a book. It's called The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. Again, I'm a published author as of March of this year. The title I'd had over 10 years, but never knew what I would use the title for. And then I had a life coach who had pushed me and told me I needed to write my story. So I began to write my story. I finished it, and what better topic? Because at one point I'm innocent. Another point, at another time, I'm guilty. I have played victim and have been a victim. So I thought the title fit my story. And I wrote the book maybe about 2 years ago, and God aligned me with a lady named Phyllis Jenkins. She has an organization called The Powerful Journey. And on this journey, it's a group of women who write their stories, support each other through the whole process from writing, editing, and getting it published. So God aligned us, and she read my manuscript and then told me to write it over. And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? But I felt the connection, and I knew she wouldn't lead me wrong. And also her background of helping women tell their stories. So I rewrote the book, and how she explained it, she just said, you talk about God in one chapter. I need you to talk about God throughout your chapters because he's been here from the beginning to where you are now. And she told me to, because it was more of a woe it's me, like feel sorry for me, look what I've been through, versus talking to my audience. And so she said, pretend like, put a chair in front of you, pretend like there's a 15-year-old girl there who's going through some of the things you went through. What would you tell her? And that's how I was able to rewrite my book. Now, through the process, it was hard because I had to go back to places I didn't want to go to and that I hadn't even written. And so it took time for me to complete it, but I did. I'm super excited. I was in a women's conference where I got to tell my story. And let's just dive into the book. It talks about me growing up. My mother was not emotional or affectionate, and it was because her mother wasn't. And I felt sorry for my mom because I'm like, to not have that or be able to experience that, that's terrible. Like it wasn't a good feeling to me, so I could only imagine what she had experienced. And then my father was an addict, and so he chose his addiction over me. And so here I am in this world, and I'm basically just existing. I'm looking for love. I want affection. I want to be told you're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you, but I never got it. And so through that process, I started seeking different things to numb the pain. I wasn't healing because I didn't understand at the time what that meant or what that looked like. But
Right.
if I could at least numb it so I don't think about it for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 or 3 days. I drank alcohol. I was addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to sex. If a man didn't have sex with me, that meant he didn't love me. And that was my mindset. I was addicted to partying and, and money, and I was still empty. And you know how sometimes when you grow up or when you're going through something, it's a continuous cycle over and over. You get tired. At one point, you're gonna get tired because you're drained.
Facts.
And having my daughters, I knew the cycle had to be broken. And so everything that my mom didn't give me that I felt like was important in life, I gave to my daughter. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful that God kept me through. Now I know who kept me, because when I was younger, I used to question, like, why did my parents have me? And, because back in the day when we were growing up, there were like family matters.
Oh,
So it's like, why do I have that? And all my friends at school, there were a few that didn't, but the majority that I spent a lot of time around, they had both of their parents. So I wasn't getting it. So went through the process of that. Had my oldest daughter who's 20 now, and she kind of went through it with me. She had to share that alcohol addiction with me. And so I needed to do better. I couldn't have my daughter be who I was. And I knew that if she was better than me, then I felt like I did my job. So I started seeking God, and he started bringing people into my life that I needed. And I did a 40-day purpose with the church one of my cousins went to. And that's when I started diving deep into the word and understanding for myself. I was raised in church and I was raised as a Baptist, but there's a difference in hearing the word and knowing it for yourself. Yes. So the more I kept reading, Coach K, I was just like, I'm supposed to be here. I have a purpose. That's why I'm here. It says it right here in the book, in the Bible. So I know for sure that his word never changes, and everything in his word, he means and he's going to do. So the more I kept reading, the more I understood. And I know he won't change on me. His word won't switch on me. He won't give up on me. He'll protect me, because that's what he was doing even when I turned my back, even when I didn't listen, even when I stopped praying, even when I wasn't going to church, even when I was being foolish and so worldly. He never gave up on me. Never. And so here I am now, published author, two beautiful daughters that I love dearly, still growing and glowing.
You definitely going, sis. Let me just tell you, your story is so powerful. And I'm just so glad that you were able to even share it here on Empowering Real Talk, because I know, and I know that you know as well, that there are so many women that share similar stories.
Absolutely.
We have been given the blessing of conversation, the blessing of saying, hey, we can help, we can listen, we can
Right.
support, and I'm so glad that you are stepping into that unapologetically, because I
Yeah.
know sometimes we are fearful of that. I know that that's something that I spent years being fearful of, like, really, for one, knowing what my power was, but two, stepping into it.
Yes. Yes.
And since you have stepped into that, like, what type of changes have you seen, not just for yourself, but like your circle, like be it the people that you're around? And I know you said that you grew up, in church too, but what's the difference then to now?
So the difference now is my faith, not going off of my plan, but his plan. And it's not easy, because sometimes I question, I get anxious, but I have to go back to the book. I have honestly lost two of my true best friends.
Mm.
I can't tell you why. All I can say is I prayed and asked God to remove the people that were not going where he was taking me, and he started doing it.
We are so quick to say we want a better life.
Yep.
So quick to say that we need change. But what I have seen is people only want part-time change. You want that full transformation in order to really become who you're supposed to be and who you're destined to become. That full circle transformation is necessary.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose, oh, well, I know that this needs to go, but I'm not getting rid of this. I know that I need to change this, but I'm not getting rid of this person. And that's just unfortunate because people is not walking in their purpose simply because they won't let certain things go that they know they get signs. It's just like
Right.
red flag relationships. But yet and still you are the same person that is crying, that is so upset, frustrated, wondering why things
Exactly.
questioning, but like you said, and you know why.
Yep.
You just in denial for a lot of things and really stepping into that because even for me, I didn't grow up in church, right? But these last 4 years
Mm.
in whew,
Talk
a
about
whirlwind, because I'm embracing that side of me.
it.
I think people have to understand when you are really stepping into that transformative change in yourself, that doesn't mean that your personality is going to change because
Right.
at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. And I think that's what they are so afraid of. Because you have to be perfect to you don't. God is not, he don't want you to be perfect. He will perfect you.
Yeah.
So and I always focus on that. And I tell people because they won't, some people are like, oh Angel, you don't want to do this. Do you do this? And can you? And I'm like, I'm still Angel Gaddis. I'm still that girl. I just don't do things the way I used to do it. And that's okay.
And that's what growth is all about. That's what transformation is all about. That's what mindset shifting is all about.
It is. It is.
Actually figuring out what your values and beliefs are. Were 20 years ago, not what they were 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Not who you are now or who you want to be.
Yep.
And once you get to that point, and I love what you mentioned earlier that you got you a coach because people feel like that. I'm not saying that you can't begin the journey on your own, but when you are really making transformative changes, there is going to have to be somebody there that is going to hold you.
You gotta have a community.
You gonna have to have it, and
Yep.
it can't be the same community that
No,
you had. You know,
no. My whole community is totally different now. So
mine
yep.
too. Mine
Yep.
too. And I had to be okay with that. And I think we don't talk about grief enough. We only talk about grief like in death, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
grief is like losing anything. Grief is losing a relationship. Grief is losing a job.
Yeah.
It's losing anything.
Exactly.
I'm not saying because you do remember the good times within those friendships. I know that, with you and your long-term friendships, you're probably like, yeah, I remember the good times, but I still had to be like, it's no longer for me. That season,
Yep.
or that
And no one is expecting you to get over it overnight because it's again, like you said, it's mindset, it's a transformation, it's a whole new world lifestyle. Believe me, there's been times where I cried. Yep, lifestyle changes.
it is
And
a lot.
I cried. There's times I break down because 30 years to me is long. And especially when you don't know why. But then you have to think back of what you prayed for and family as well. But your lifestyle becomes different. And so you have to embrace that. If you asking God and you want better and he's giving it to you, you can't lose.
Yep. And
You
that's
can't
what we
lose.
realize. You have to be ready
Yeah,
what it is that you asking for.
that's right. That's
And
right.
also understanding that it's not going to go how you feel it should
Say
go.
that again. Say it again.
We lose track of ourselves because we have a plan.
Yep.
You touched on that earlier too. We have a plan, but if the alignment is not how that is supposed to go, you can't force it.
Nope.
And now
That don't work.
you're suffering and struggling because you steady trying to force that square in that circle, not your path. That is not your journey.
But listen to this, Coach K. Anything outside of God's will has to stay. So whatever his will is for your life, even if it don't look like you think it should look, or even if you don't see what you think you should see, because I run into that a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
you just don't know. If it's a no, then it's a hard no. And you gotta trust. You gotta have faith in yourself. No.
Oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
let me see. And well, it didn't happen, but it still could go this way. No, you got to trust that process. Faith. And I love that you said that. Like your faith is different. And that's what you in that transformative state. Truly trusting your process and having complete and utter faith in
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
in yourself. So like when it comes to, being okay with doing things your way, like what unique approaches or methods that you've done here now that kind of helps you on your journey? Because as an author, you definitely promote and you definitely encourage, but I also know that you are also out here in these community streets too. So
Yeah.
let us know, how what your approaches are and what your methods are when it comes to empowering other women.
So I do a lot of social media inspiration. Sometimes I speak on just a motivating, and then sometimes I share what God is doing because somebody else may be in that space and they need to know. So each week, once a week, I speak on all platforms of social media, and it's just different inspirational things that I speak on. And I really, truly try to help, even if it's just one person. And I always pray and say, God, if it's just one, and I get a lot of great feedback, and it just feels good to help women and young girls that are yes, that are in a space of, because this generation is different.
Ooh,
And my daughter's 20, so I've been all up in the generation. And for young girls, it's just sad to watch because they don't understand their power. They don't know who they are. And a lot of them operate off pain and what the world looks like and what social media says it should be. And it's causing a lot of things to happen to our youth, and a lot of it's suicide, and it's very scary. So I've done that. I also am in a community, the Powerful Journey, where we are in like a next step class. So we just speak on and inspirate each other, speak on what our next steps are. And I just keep grooving and I just ask God to keep aligning me. And I'm always pray for a discerning mind because you don't ever know who God gonna bring, what your situation gonna be. So you have to be aware. I also have to be aware of people that are in my life or even trying to attempt to be in my life, to be aware of those that don't mean me good. But I do a lot of speaking on social media because I am new to this. In any community that podcasting, I speak on a lot of podcasts, and I'm working on a course for young girls as well as women, speaking on breaking the generational cycles and also turning their pain into purpose. Those are two courses that I will have available soon, and it'll be a workshop for our young girls 15 to 18. I
love
don't
it.
see that. And we need to, that's where it starts. And it's so many generations ago, and it continues to keep happening. And why can't I be the one that fix it?
Absolutely. Come on, sis. Go ahead and pay my way. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So, like, when it comes to just really being unapologetically okay with your shifts and your changes, because I definitely know I understand that like growth is continual.
Yep.
People don't get that growth is something that you encounter every day. I've realized that having a growth mindset, even on my rest days, I'm still growth thinking. Mindset of, okay, what can I do? Whether it's a personal journey or the entrepreneurial journey.
Yep.
Because as a full-time entrepreneur, yes, I have to make sure that the personal and the professional alignments are
Exactly.
with me because that's how I continue to walk in purpose.
Right.
So just understanding that, like, as you continue to build, have your communities, create your courses, what can you say, like the next 12 months? What do you want them to look like for you? Because we're going to go ahead and speak them into it.
Yeah, we're going in. I'll be motivational speaking across the world. I will be at colleges. I will be at prisons. I will be at girl group homes. I will be wherever God send me, I'm going to be there because I have such a strong passion for our young girls. And if I can do it, they can do it. And I need them to know that everybody has a purpose in this world. So although you're going to go through it, although we will have trials and tribulations, and we still have purpose, and the world needs us. The world, your story is going to help somebody else. My story is no longer my story. It's for someone else. So that's where I'll be. I'll be on podcasts, maybe some shows at the church, teen group retreats, all of that. That's where I want to be. And so I actually have been reading the Bible, and I go through the different books because I want to be relatable to our youth. There's sometimes religion can be very, and this is my opinion, can be a bully. And sometimes it pushes our youth and even grown people away because
something to discuss for a second, because we've seen that a lot more lately. And that's why I tend to want to always talk about values and belief systems, because our value systems that we had when we were 10 are not going to be the same values that we are 30, 40, 50. And because some of our older generation, and I love my older generation so much, but they are still have that mindset of you do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I advocate when it comes to our mental health, all of that. And I have really faced some backlash because I speak on people being able to walk in their journey. It's not a matter of disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but what I'm telling you is, first of all, I'm almost a half a century old. I need to be respected as well. If y'all want to operate in that system, then understand that.
Yeah.
Like, but for two, why are you getting mad at me because I don't choose to believe or live the same way that you live?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's why there's so much friction, and that's why we cannot come together as community, because there's so many people that feel like, oh, if you're not doing it this way, then you're not doing it right. But who are you? I don't get my assignment from you. So how I'm doing my assignment is exactly how I'm supposed to be doing my assignment.
And it may not look like what you think it should, but that's really not your business if you want it to be. And my oldest daughter, she helped me with that because, of course, as a mother, and like you said, having a daughter and knowing what you went through, my daughter told me, she said, Mom, I'm not going to do things like you do. I'm in a totally different generation.
Sitting back and thinking about it, you're like, oh my God, for one, my baby thinking for herself.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you got to spin it. Instead of you thinking that she being defiant, she is having a mind of her own.
She got a mind of her own, and she got feelings too. She has feelings. You don't shut the feelings down.
And when it comes to our younger generations, they are going to have to bump their heads in certain situations.
They will.
They learn their lessons. That's how they become more resilient. That's how they rise above and become the best versions of themselves. And we can still do that as grown women. That's why I feel so compelled to work with women, because it is never too late for us to elevate.
That's right. As long as you're waking up and you got breath in you, it is never too late. Still got work out here to do. So I meet people where they at. That's my motto. Wherever you're at, I will meet you there, because wherever we're at, God meets us. And it might be the ugliest place. It might be under the bridge. It could be at a rehab. You just never know. So who am I to turn you down or walk away from you in a moment like that, in a vulnerable moment? So that's how me and my kids communicate. I meet them where they at. We talk. And if we can't leave the house until everybody explain what's happening, what's going on, why you feel this way. I even do mental health checks with my kids, like, how y'all doing? I pray with my kids. And we just have a strong bond. And it don't take money. It don't take new clothes, new shoes. It don't take any of that, because at the end of the day, young people just want to be heard. They just need somebody to listen. That's it.
Absolutely, sis. Wholeheartedly.
Yep.
That's it right there. They want somebody to be listened to. So yeah, so like finally then we're gonna wrap it up here, but just kind of let us know what's upcoming for you. We speaking on our manifestations, but what are your upcoming and let us know where we can find books and social media information.
Absolutely. So my book is on Amazon. Again, it's The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. I have an event in Tampa, Florida in November. It's actually at the International Airport. I will be doing book signings, and then there's a hotel, and I believe it's the Marriott, but I will put the information on my social media platforms, which is Angel Gaddis. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. Those are where I do my motivational speaking, inspiration, and just sharing the love. And so, yeah, that's my next big event that's coming up. I'm looking to have my books in the libraries. I'm actually going back to my high school to see if I can't put my book in there where I graduated. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm in a next step class where I'm learning what's next and marketing, and then after that it's the master class where my courses will come in, and I'll keep all that on everybody posted on social media. So I'm super excited.
I love it. Well, first off, I will make sure that the link to purchase her book will be in the podcast notes section. And then also I'll make sure that her social media details are in there as well, because I definitely want you guys to make sure that you are following her because hey, she pretty powerful and I absolutely love it. So
Thank you so much, Coach K.
thank you for being here.
You're an amazing woman doing some good stuff. I love
Thank
it. I love
you.
to see it.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for bringing some empowering real talk,
Sure.
continue to do what it is that you do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, y'all know where y'all can find me at. If you have not, make sure that you follow me at Coach K Transforms on all platforms. But make sure you have subscribed to the podcast and the Upgraded MindsetZ Media channel here on YouTube because you will catch the best of both worlds, empowering real talk and the woman's hustle, thrills and spills of entrepreneurship. So make sure that you have hit that subscribe button and make sure that you hit the bell to get the notifications of new episodes. All right. We are out of here. I want y'all to stay focused. Remember, be unapologetically you, okay? There's nobody else like you. So be unapologetic no matter what you're going through, true you, all right? Stay empowered. Y'all talk to y'all soon.